My name carries heritage. I come from a culture where it has to mean something. Mercy, Oluwabukumi, Olagunju. I was embarrassed of how my name was pronounced in school. I'm sure it was embarrassed of me then too. Assembly certificates, me squirming on the floor as a teacher attempts to say the remains of what my parents saw in me. Oluwabukumi. God has added to my blessing, and if that didn't carve the fabric of who I am enough today, mercy means compassion. The passion comes first, the care came with time, but you can call me Mercy, not Merce, like that time from a colleague. Don't shorten my name, because I'm nothing short of a meaningful testimony. I said, don't shorten my name, because I'm nothing short of a meaningful testimony. When I decolonized my mind, something similar to what my father used to say, I realized a self-depreciating, diluted version of my history in my veins, a continent that had been taken and taken and taken from us and the diaspora, so see the economic value versus resource problem. One summer I was going to Nigeria with my family to touch the motherland, but I lied and said I was going to America because I was embarrassed. Pretentious upper hand. I hate my lack of appreciation then for the things I didn't understand. I feared God, then I feared the media. Colonized by the latter and narratives of poverty. Do they know it's Christmas time? A music video with a rep that was weighty. Because I didn't know Africa had remains of the beauty and the stories and the prayers and the meanings my parents wove into the name that they engraved in me. Oluwabukumi. Don't read the media like you'd read the Bible. I eat pounded yam, not fufu. Don't let them tell you what where you're from is like. Start reading stories about actual inhabitants' lives. Learn from your parents' lived experience. Being in the diaspora shouldn't make your respect any different. I don't know any continent more creative and resourceful than Africa. The one they've taken and taken and taken from to build the British Empire, when its villages are the ones with the boldest kings, with a love that extends like the River Nile's. Sunshine State kid, can't you tell by my smile? To accept you know nothing as decolonizing, because rights versus respect, possession versus ownership is the largest world war that we've been fighting. Thank you. How's everyone doing tonight? Good? We good? I won't preamble too much because I got a lot to say, but I used to work in a school with teenage boys aged 16 to 19, and before I left, there was something I never got to say to them, so I wrote this poem as a closure. What I wish I could say to those boys. My man saw his demon in the distance and ran with it.
Say it again. I'm sorry, what?
My man saw his demon in the distance and ran with it. Dancing so close to death, but when the strike hit, sliced another part of you. This time he fell, bless him, and his angels emerged out the heavens to ask him if he finally learnt his lesson, or if he needed to be carried up or booted down. Angel asked him, what do you think you're missing out that this life can give you? Devil knew how dangerous you would be to him if you knew your potential, so he threw a volcano at you, a cobweb. You don't respect yourself, so you treat others with disrespect. Through others' fires, you got hit in your self-esteem with a shrapnel. Because no one ever gave you attention unless you were in trouble. Detentions became protocol, foreshadowing the courtrooms. When that snake crept in, disguised as a siren that you knew, you stopped kissing your teeth for a moment and bit it. This is for little boys that don't allow themselves to become young men. Taken by unaliving or pen, little boys in understanding and emotional intelligence. You didn't know how to get into rooms unless you forced yourself in them, because you can't communicate without aggression. You've attached intimidation to what respect is, and I notice. You're not special when this is the bass and the voice you're holding. Because unfortunately, little boys don't become young men, taken by the police and the system, because school says you never amount to anything. Because when you're a young black child, you can't take the mick. Because you're treading in a cobweb of self-destruction. The cards you've been dealt have now left scars you've turned into weapons. So every room you enter, you give others ammunition. And the police stop you, search you and shop you. If you fit their criteria of little boys, they weren't allowed to become young men. Mummy's love has been shelved for the job she's working every day and weekends so that you can have a home. But unfortunately, the only time she picks up the phone is if you're a problem or to run her an errand. So you've attached wanting to feel kindness with needing to be useful or lack something. But you don't want to burden her. So you look for little boy solutions, false senses of protection, because little boys don't become young men when they mistake love and support for attention. Because them, man, only rate you when you're useful. And they've got you in a chokehold with hood politics that you'd rather end up another statistic. unexplained death or missing, from staircase estate blocks to Ipswich. Because one thing you could never be is a snitch. Rather kill or kill yourself, charged. I know you're bored and alone, but sometimes when you're home and it's dark, just stay at yard. It's not a race thing, but more so class, that entertainment is attached to rebelling and finding out through the dark who you aren't. But then it gets too tricky to decline next time. Because little boys don't become young men when they've been marked and misaligned. Nothing is original. Overpowered by the game, boldly stereotypical. They want to listen to caution, but those who don't hear must feel. Everywhere you're placed up until you're 18, you can use, don't let use you. You don't need to start on the street, you just need a brain. I wish I could start a campaign, because everything you are now isn't all you're meant to be. People should look at you and see a survivor, not a product of the streets. Probably a little boy listening to this thinking it could never happen to me. A child that isn't embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Little boys don't become young men when they don't realise what's worth fighting for. And I know it's dark to say, but that child didn't ask to be born. I don't want to hear black boys and knife crime in the same sentence anymore. You don't have to be a top student, but you never stop learning. Because little boys only become young men when they realise better choices every day create futures that are worth it. Ignored, so now you ignored your potential. Understimulated, so now you seek quick acceptance from people placing quicksand under your feet. In school, I told someone they should snitch if they're in trouble. Don't leave the ones that love them in the dark if they're acceptable. Mummy's praying every night you won't get taken by the sword. A student said to me, "Miss, we all gotta go someday." I said your life is worth more than a boy's in the hood present day. You tell me you can't snitch, can't cut a deal, can't afford, but you've always got a choice. Do the time behind bars or a life sentence without walls. Use that blade or that voice of yours. But only one stops the cycle without a body in a morgue. So bury the blade, sharpen your mind, see outside the confines of your matrix. Find out what you're good at or don't hate and fire away at it. I see a set of people that need to put themselves first because it hurts. Because all black boys are not the same. You still matter, you just made some mistakes. It matters where you go, not where you're coming from. So be the little boy that grows into a young, handsome man. I trust you'll break the cycle and be a better dad. Those dopamine insecurity leeching demons don't want you to know that you can. Thank you. Is this a safe space?
Yeah.
Can I get personal?
Yeah.
Okay. Because yesterday was Mother's Day, and my mum's so cute. Because she'll go training for work as a community nurse and come home to speak to me about tragedies that aren't news to me. Worried inflection in her voice doesn't know me not telling her about my own experiences with harassment is by choice, not ignorance. She told me on the phone that when she gets home, she'll come home to speak to me about how young men are groomed and bribed to be bottom boys and given breadcrumb for their work on the streets. Or about people who get assaulted in my line of work. You see, I'm not oblivious. I think I understand the need for a mother's protection. But she don't know how many times at work I already get asked if we do happy endings. Or walked into the room with a client already naked, waiting. I just don't come back to report to Mother Dearest. You see, when I worked in that school with teenage boys, hungry, sexual beasts, it reminded me of what I once endured when I was in secondary. A guy would run past my ass, slap it like it was free property, laugh, expecting me to chase him angrily, and by the time that I did, he got away too fast for me. Quick to take my innocence, quicker to evade accountability. Or me getting called Ucker's battles or Ucker's lips before I ever got that far sexually. Then I wore the title and it became a veil for me. Or that time that I was speaking to a guy for the better part of a year, actually. I was 14. Finally organised a link-up that first started in the library. When I got there, I was greeted by another boy. I obviously moved reserved, didn't want to get caught being rude spontaneously. This buffoon had me waiting, and when he got there eventually, he said we should go to Morrison's because he wanted to get some sweets. As we're tracing through the aisles, I have my wits about me. I look around, I'm sure I spotted the same guy from the library. He said, "Nah, I'm tripping," and kept looking for the invisible sweets. Maybe it's because I was wearing full camouflage that day, they didn't see my autonomy. Or feel the discomfort in the air of my speech. I'll skip to where it gets juicy. Lured into Morrison's toilets, him and me. See, I'm not as tough as I thought I was. Not as tough as you think I am. Sitting on his lap, him caressing me. I'll take the attention, but something sinister is churning from within my belly. I hear a knock on the door. He opens. Voila, it's bro from the library and like a lineup of 3 more guys behind him. You see, I won't get into the details because I'm not special. But what I will say is I lost my vim. I embraced it like I chose it, even took it because I'm no victim. Negotiated, okay, pull it down then. but not you. Delete the video or I will stop, trying to redeem some sort of sexual power. So I'm obviously not going to go home to tell my African God-fearing mother. I speed walked home that night, being followed till I let down my walls in my room. Not too far from the gloom I felt in my town centre after school, year 9, girl cornering me, passionately cussing me out, gearing me up for a fight. But I couldn't even focus because all around were people filming and a guy who just grabbed my ass right behind. You see, I know a lot of girls who've got stories like the ones I just dropped. Fast forward my last job, a teacher 20 plus my senior talking to me about what he would do to me. At first I found the attention harmless and funny. He would laugh and confidently says he knows he could get me if he tried enough. When I conferred with other staff members that were women, this was the general consensus. I hate to share the tragedies of things I could have prevented, and I'm not just saying that. Sometimes I really could have. Like one time I lied and pretended I wasn't a virgin and ended up owing a guy's sex because I pretended I could take it, entertained it. When the first time we met, I knew there was a reason I moved cold, but I went back to restart a convo because at 18, I was left with guilt after all my no's. Sex is clearly power, and if I'm a horny person now, I'm rewriting other stories told, no? I tried to break my hymen the night before because I was too embarrassed. So I'm not gonna tell my African God-fearing mother that the sensible grown-up I wanted her to see me as isn't something I had practiced. Because what I've learned now is that a smile is seen as an invitation. And when a man says no, it's the final declaration. But if it's a woman, no means negotiation. So mum, it's cute. So what I've learned now is that a smile is seen as an invitation. And when a man says no, it's the final declaration. But if it's a woman, no means negotiation. So mum, it's cute. The things you learn in community nurse training, but I'd rather not feel like I need saving. I'm happy I know you're here now because our relationship has been growing. But I wouldn't feel like I'd healed if the stories I recovered from are now shed out in the open. I now know you'll be able to imagine my helplessness, but I like to believe that my prayers and my voice when I really need it now won't leave me destitute and hopeless. Thank you. That was very, very safe space here. Thank you guys. I think it's time for a little pick-me-up. We're ready for a pick-me-up?
Yeah.
My final piece for you guys. When people ask me how I feel, I always say I'm not settling. Dust may fall, but I rise. Heart may ache, but my eyes, they dream big. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Each season, I pick a mix. Sometimes my life's a story, other times it's mathematics. See, I take calculated risks. I'm a chaser. When people ask me how I feel, I always say I'm not settling. Dust may fall, but I rise. Heart may ache, but my eyes, they dream big. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Each season, I pick a mix. Sometimes my life's a story, other times it's mathematics. See, I take calculated risks. I'm a chaser. Don't want to be enslaved like my history. Jewels rest on my head for my stolen ancestry. I want to dig deep for gold before they bury me. I'm a creator, like father, like daughter. I'm not settling because even Jesus ascended and overcome this world so I could overcome this hell on earth, this regimented system that wears us till we're worn and twisted, that pours our dreams to we're indifferent. This isn't sweater weather, hope you know I'm spitting. Things are starting to brew. Carry me with the vapor, I'm not settling, and neither should my neighborhood too. I want a better life. I want to reap the benefit of my parents' sacrifice. Land of milk and honey manna, locate me with ease. Give me strength, give me vision. Jesus, wash off my complacent feet. Chasing but not racing because greatness takes time. Put the things in motion. Once again, I elevate and fall on pleasant lines and places. The ends is what you want means who you are is adjacent. Choice after choice, I prove the woman I can be for my father, for myself, and those lucky enough to have me. Tired of police confidence and curiosity. Tired of blowing smoke up my boss's ass. Free me. Not to say she doesn't deserve what she has, where she is, or that it's bad to work, but that they tax us to the point where money does affect our worth and our lifestyle. Building a world we can't enjoy in peace, it hurts to smile. Keeping our standards low, scary world to birth a child. They capitalize on whatever results in glorified greed. It's a formality. I don't know any system not challenged with hypocritical inequity. You see, all our lives were trained, but now I'm biting through the leash. Each space and stage useful for what I need. After all, you're using me. So we're forever indebted to a stern system we're aggrieved by, somewhat like vultures. I don't hate working, just that it controls us. Debt-dependent system, thank you for education and a mortgage, glorified lifelong rent, things that force us to owe them. Is it clocking to you that there's no budget on my life and I don't need your permission? And every day is a blessing, so I don't want to thank God it's a Friday. High life hedonism till Sunday, hungover by the Monday. So I'm not settling, because this is not a graveyard. I rise above the undertaker, have him quaking in his boots because I'm just like vapor, not a settler but a groundbreaker. Closed mouths don't get fed, closed minds don't get chose. The trick is to teach people how to treat you, decide before they do, intimidate so they venerate the paradigm. Why reside in a version of myself that don't feel nice when I can reinvent myself as many times as I like? I have to work just to get money to afford what I want to do. Then I need time for the latter, but now I'm too tired to properly execute. So I might just live in spite, because I'm restless about life, because you might just die. You might just go home and cry. You might forget to speak up and get fired. You might be busy, but if you have to do it tired, you might be broke or feel broken. You might need to remember that there's not one fixed path that's been chosen. You might find this all overwhelming and confusing, but what you're not changing, you're choosing. You might need to listen to the voice saying that this isn't all there is, and this isn't all I can. You might need to sacrifice to be blessed like Abraham. You might fall, but then you've already reached rock bottom. So close to making grounds break if you just got yourself back up. See, I'm not settling, I'm falling upwards in spite. And so the system sees we're fiending and eats from us what we won't give ourselves. So we might as well. Thank you.